Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today I am discussing what might have been my favorite new watch of 2023 from Bethune. This is the DBD Season 2, the DB Digital. It is a modern reintroduction of a timepiece originally launched in 2006 and made in only 39 examples at the time. Now, this is a collaboration with the American recording artist Swizz Beatz, who is quite the watch connoisseur, and as a result, it is representative of his styling preferences with a lovely Burgundy Côte de Genève dial and a black zirconium case in the form of the original jump hour inline calendar DB Digital. This is also a limited edition, so only 13 were created. So the watch is, well, difficult to express in size terms, so I'm going to show you it on the wrist, but in terms of bare measurements, 42.6 millimeters across, that is from conventionally 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then 11.7 millimeters thick, and from the hinge of the lug on one flank to the end of the case on the opposite side, it's a fairly compact 46 millimeters across the wrist, and while it does have a hinge lug on one side, there is a conventional lug on the opposite flank, and that is a 24 millimeter spacing. So this is the most instructive demonstration of its size. I can't tell you because of the shape, but I can show you. The visual makes it clear that the watch isn't all that thick, although it does have a lot of presence. Its vaguely tombstone-like profile fits quite easily across my wrist, and you can see that I could probably wear this on a much smaller wrist. Even over the top, which always exaggerates the width of a watch, I've got quite a bit of clearance. And down the barrel, you can see that I've got a good deal of clearance. So I'd say 14 centimeter circumference wrists and up, good to go. The strap is, of course, a factory piece that's keyed to the dial. So we have that burgundy color monotone stitch. We do have a curved spring bar so it can hug the case closely. And if you look carefully, you can even see there's a bit of a recess under the overhang of the bezel that allows the strap to have a full range of motion. There is some bolstering to give it thickness, stuffing that is, with a folded edge. And then we have a leather gusset sewn in to avoid excessive gouging or rapid degeneration of the strap. On the bottom side, a black calfskin. This is a Bethune factory strap, and you can see it's paired with a combination of a lovely burgundy fired titanium pin and a blackened zirconium buckle that is Bethune branded on the bottom, so the attention to detail runneth over. Now here we have a hinge style lug, and the strap's actually held on with 3 screws. We also have a fascinating screw down crown that includes a combination of drillings and knurlings. It's quite ornate and distinctive, and in a lot of ways this watch is a throwback to vintage pendant watches, pocket watches, and pre-wristwatch timekeepers. There's actually quite a bit of similarity here between watches previously made by, among others, Audemars Piguet that included this digital inline calendar system as well as the jump hour. So that's where this design actually comes from. Also in period, back in the first quarter of the 20th century, there was a Breguet pocket watch that included the combination of the jump hour and the inline calendar. So those are the spiritual forebears of what you see here. Now, it is a polished case. It's blackened zirconium, but it is a polished zirconium. It is very, very hard with the hard black coating and extremely scratch resistant. You can also see it's a monoblock case, as the case and the bezel are all one piece, and then it's a back loader with everything dial and movement loading in through the back. We have these little cabochon or ogival lug profiles. You can see the lugs are slightly broken out from the case band in terms of contour, but these bullet tip lugs are the last styling vestige of the original DB1 chronograph from 2002, and with a few exceptions like the DB20s and the Dream watches, these have been present on almost every Bethune design since 2002. We have a flat, or truly flat bezel, giving way to a crystal that matches the shape of the case and the shape of the dial. Now what we have on the dial is called Côte de Genève, and that is distinct from Côte de Bethune, which you find on the reverse. On the reverse, you could see that the darker flank of the stripe faces out on each side, which is to say that these stripes are designed to mirror each other. And in fact, this barrel bridge cover is split down the center. You can just barely see the seam, and each side is designed to mirror the other. The reversing of the wheel that lays down the stripe creates that mirrored aesthetic. Whereas here, you can see that the dark flank of the stripe is on the same side all the way across. It doesn't mirror the opposite side. What you'll also note is that this dial is actually part of the movement. It's not a dial in the strictest sense, because you can see pivots for the discs that actually bear the calendar and the jump hour. 30 meters water resistant. The reason the crown is a screw down is not so much for high water resistance, but to prevent it from coming in physical contact with the hinged lug and offer greater durability. Now, we do have a scrolling time display and a jumping hour, which is an absolute blast to play with. And then we've got a inline calendar up at the top that is American style with the day, the date, and the month. And you can see that the date sits in the middle. It is disc-based. It is a very cool system. A unique feature for a de Bethune watch is the nameplate that is fixed by polished screws. And you can see it's been satinated on its top. It's even been beveled on its side. So the attention to detail is superb. The movement on the reverse side is caliber DB2044. Manual wind, 5 days of power reserve. We have this barrel bridge cap that includes the Cote de Bethune. And then we have underneath that a cap to the base plate that has been mirror polished with diamond paste. We have a continuously rounded and black polished bridge for the balance, which is Grubel 4C style extravagance. And I don't know how well you could see this, but if you could see the ratchet wheel atop that barrel, it features micro beveled teeth. The wells for the jewels are all mirror beveled, and you can see that we have solarization on the caps of the barrels. You can also see, since we have a barrel bridge and then a cap above the barrel bridge, that both of the edges are finished with an anglage bevel, a mirrored anglage on two planes. You can see double stacked right there. If you look really carefully, you can also see that both the upper bridge with its Cote de Bethune and the bridge below that feature the striping pattern. And then take a look at the inner profile of that bridge at the base. You can see it's been beveled on its side. We have a black polished and fired steel bridge that acts as a mounting point for the patented triple parachute shock protection system. So 1, 2, 3 shock protection springs, two purposes. 1, durability. Don't break your balance staff pivot. 2, it actually does improve chronometry by more rapidly recentering the balance staff pivot in its cup jewel. Now we've got a balance of blue titanium with white gold masses. This is the 2016 patent balance. And Denis Flageolet, the watchmaking genius behind the company and co-founder, he likes to replace his balance wheels when he comes up with a better one. And in general, what he's seeking is less vulnerability to temperature-induced timing deviation, aerodynamic drag, and he's trying to put as much of the mass as possible, the total mass, in the rim, which is why you have this design. The balance accomplishes all those goals, oscillating at 4 hertz. We have 2 mainspring barrels manually wound, and they cannot accidentally be overwound because one has a slipping mainspring. These are self-adjusting barrels. That is patented. So patented barrels. We have a patented triple parachute shock protection system, a patented balance wheel, also a patented hairspring. The hairspring is actually cut, manually shaped, and then reclamped together. So you have the advantages of a flat hairspring, which is a thinner watch and better shock resistance, with the advantages of an overcoil, but namely concentric breathing in any position. It'll keep even time. You can really see the quality of the finish here. It's as good as anything in the business. Grubel 4C, Lang und Heine, Ferdinand Berthoud, but it's a very avant-garde aesthetic. In fact, the whole watch is a little bit different. It's for people who want something that is rare, exotic, beautifully built, and creatively engineered. It is my favorite watch of all watches ever made, and it is my ultimate grail. Reach out if you love this watch to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.